Welcome to a 2v2 on Eindhoven country. This game is going to be Looney and Siddolio versus Mettiu and CrocodileDundee. We've got mixed allies in the south, double host here in the north, infantry, mechanized, and airborne company, shock rifle, tank hunter. Damn it! Oh my god, I cannot get these right. Shock rifle, lend-lease, and partisans. For Siddolio, mechanized assault, lightning more, and elite troops, close air support, and spearhead. Available to the Oster players. Heavy grenadier opening from the Oster, heavy conscript and rifle opening from the allies. Just throwing core infantry squads on the field, worrying about team weapons and support later, which makes sense, especially on this map because it's so big. You need to be very mobile. Team weapons not very mobile. Going to simply spread out and take territory here at the beginning. No engagements yet. At least very light engagements. First real engagement will be riflemen versus grenadiers there on the left side. Looks like Pio's getting into short range. Actually get a pretty decent burst off on those riflemen, and with grenadiers supporting at long range, win the engagement with no models lost. Rear echelon set up in green cover will pick off one of those pioneers. And grenadiers vault this cover for whatever reason. Now he feels a little exposed, although at this range those riflemen aren't doing that much damage. And over here on the right side, one squad of grenadiers has been made to retreat by a mine. Pretty nasty mine. Very early mine. And grenadiers moving to take control of this strategic point. Conscripts moving to engage here. Conscripts will be forced to retreat away from that MG42 right there. Riflemen will be forced to retreat. Siddolio will be able to get control of the south fuel back. Conscripts moving to take control of this cutoff here, and the American player continues to get pushed away by these two squads of grenadiers. CrocodileDundee has sustained only 3 model losses throughout the entire course of the game thus far. He's off to a pretty strong start, engaging very cost effectively. Just looking at their losses, Siddolio lost 3, Looney off to a pretty rough start. Lost 8 already. Losing rifleman models that many this early hurts. CrocodileDundee engaging quite nicely. Mettiu not doing quite as well. Doesn't have very many kills. He hasn't been engaging very much at all because he's also gone MG42 and elite troops, dropping a bunch of fuel on a Vet 3 MG42 right there off the bat. First person to make a commander selection for that Vet 3 machine gun. I don't really know if the bonuses that gives him are that great, but having access to incendiary rounds this early will be nice. And I think it makes it a little harder to decrew as well, depending on positioning. Generally, not a great idea to put team weapons in yellow cover, especially if the yellow cover does not give them any directional benefits here. Either no cover or green cover is a good policy for team weapons. Infantry you can put in yellow cover because it's easy to dodge grenades with them. Team weapons, I really don't think it's ever a good idea. As soon as grenades or molotovs get researched, yellow cover is a death trap for team weapons. Nice rifle grenade, connects beautifully. Possibly winning him this engagement unless support arrives from the right side. This machine gun does not have support on its flanks. It's being taken down by conscripts just in a green cover position right there. It's going to go down if it doesn't retreat or reposition soon. Grenadiers still contending with riflemen and rear echelons over here on the left side. Meanwhile, the right defended by one squad of conscripts. Pio's moving to take control now. Conscripts chase away the machine gun and are grabbing the center VP, but 2 squads of grenadiers moving up to chase them away. Should be able to do so soon. And those 3 squads will be forced to retreat, I guess. I don't know if he really had to. I guess he just wanted to get back. Get some healing done here in the base. Yeah, he just pulled back for healing. He didn't have to retreat, but he just wants to heal up and continue to engage as cost effectively as possible. I think he might have the least losses so far. No, Mettiu has 1 less than him, 2 less than him. And Siddolio has only 7. So, things pretty even. Looney's suffering the most model losses so far, but nothing too serious yet, really. Because he's U.S. forces, he kind of has an inherent manpower advantage, and he's also reinforcing in the field, so that will help. Siddolio moving up to assist in the engagements here. Rear echelons engaging against flamethrower. They will pop volley fire. It's going to come down to a lucky flame crit to win this engagement, and it does. He does get one. Rear echelons will be forced to retreat by the advancing grenadier blob anyway. These riflemen overextend beyond the cover of their ambulance. They will not be able to avoid getting suppressed and forced to retreat, which is exactly what Siddolio is doing, overextending beyond a position that he can safely defend and force off the field with squads that he could have otherwise continued to defend this territory with. I don't know why the Allies are exposing themselves into really dangerous engagement zones when they could have just held this ground, took advantage of shorter range engagements, and forced their opponents to enter red cover before engaging them. Now that they've been forced completely to retreat by overextending just a little too far into this field, they're pushed completely off the map. Fortunately, nicely placed lieutenant should win the engagement versus those flamethrower pyos. Get this fuel captured, if only briefly. 3 squads of grenadiers moving into the retreat path will probably bleed them if they do not retreat, but unlikely to see a wipe without full LMG upgrades, as long as he retreats in a reasonable amount of time, which he will do. Should get away just fine. AA half-track on the field from Looney, making its way to the front lines, reinforcing a couple squads here by the ambulance. And this standard mortar. I don't know why I thought it was a heavy mortar. Standard mortar on the field, taking up a position beside this hedge, or behind this shed. And conscripts defending here by this truck. Axis still working the left side and right side, just working the flanks right now, not going to make a frontal assault. Vetted MG still in this house, pretty defensive positioning on that, but it will protect that munitions point, which is a very important investment to protect, and because of its pretty much completely red cover, it will be very difficult to take that munitions point away while that MG is still in that house. There's another Vet 3 MG screening on the flank, and a Vet 3 half-track. He has used troop training 3 separate times. That is ridiculous. 75 fuel invested into veterancy. That's gonna, honestly, I feel like it's gonna hurt him more than it's gonna help him. It's gonna take him forever to tech up or do anything. Half-track diving into short range. I don't know what Vet 3 really does on a half-track, other than I guess make it a little more agile. Gets the sense that he's in too deep and pulls back. He needs to pop those grenadiers out at some location if they're going to engage. But they have no cover here. Red cover, in fact. There's so much red cover on this map. This entire area is just a death trap, which makes indirect fire and long-range weaponry very nice. Infantry are so hard to utilize. Green cover is massively powerful here. If you can actually get some sandbags up, take up position in some behind this truck or whatever, very difficult for your opponent to get any penetration. Red cover in this area here, red cover all around here, just really hard to assault the center VP from any direction. AA half-track forces a retreat. Oh, that's going to be a wipe, I think. There they go, and he drops the flamethrower, giving that to Rifleman. He didn't even have to pick Rifle Company. He's going to have flamethrower on a Rifleman. That hurts. Whoa! S-Mine Field wipes a conscript squad on the right side. Nice. Nice pickup by Mettiu right there. Cleans up victory point with his Minesweeper Pyos. Engagement's not really going anywhere. Riflemen will be forced to retreat again. I think this AA half-track may be able to screen away these grenadiers for a little while, but with the AA AT gun moving up to support, we're probably going to see that half-track pushed away. One squad of grenadiers screening, has to retreat. Rifle grenade, big rifle grenade, almost wipes the squad. They might get away. Yeah, they'll get away. Barely, narrowly. And the fuel will go back into Axis control. Center fuel, stun grenade. Looks like Siddolio has a pretty good hold on it. Again, very difficult to assault. Red cover inside the capture circle, all around the capture circle. There is nowhere those grenadiers can stand. They will not get nailed. Flamethrower overextends himself a little bit. These two squads have to retreat. May be able to brute force those conscripts from their green cover position by advancing aggressively here, trying to close the gap. Molotov tries to bleed them, gets a nice crit with the half-track here. He can reinforce these squads, and he finally takes control of this green cover position in center victory point, despite huge manpower expenditure to do so. Using that aggressive half-track to help him out, and throwing down 2 fuel caches here in the back to help his teammate the late game, despite having gone elite troops. A lot of manpower and fuel invested into veterancy this game. If he drops it on this mortar too, that's going to be 100 fuel on veterancy, which may help to explain the purchase of these 2 fuel caches to try and equalize his fuel a little bit, try and level the playing field. Hopefully CrocodileDundee will be able to capitalize on those caches as well. A third one going up, in fact, causing Mettiu to engage this game with a very small, high veterancy army. He needs to engage as well as possible with this army because he's dropping 300 manpower on troop training, 600 manpower on fuel caches. That is almost 1,000 manpower invested into non-units. And if you include the cost of his tech structures and battle phases, that leaves him with this 7-unit army up against what his opponents have got. We've got a Katyusha on the field. Pretty big infantry army there. Nothing too scary there, although he does have LMGs and a flamethrower. And the AA half-track, plus forward reinforcement from his ambulance. Looney floating a little bit, actually. Mettiu keeping his float down with those caches. That's definitely something to be said for that. Looney could have 3 caches built of his own if he wanted, but he hasn't spent 4 caches, in fact. He just hasn't quite spent his manpower here in the early game. It's going to leave him a little bit weak against that Panzer IV. Panzer IV on the field will chase away these 2 squads. The 2 squads he has defending over here should be able to defend against infantry for a while. Katyusha bombarding the team weapons. Nice spread! Almost wipes that machine gun. The AT gun will be available to participate, though, and screen away the AA half-track should it get too aggressive. And of course the Panzer IV is also a very significant threat. There's a field gun from Siddolio. If he tries to send that left to assist his teammate against the Panzer IV, he'll have to split his micro between the left and right sides of the map. Very difficult to do, to manage engagements against 2 people at once. In a 1v1, there's no real danger in doing that. In fact, you should do that. Try and out-micro your opponent. In 2v2, however, it's extremely dangerous to split micro, because in all likelihood, you will be split microing against 2 people who are not split microing, which makes you lose engagements on all fronts. So I never advise split microing in a 2v2 unless you are absolutely just super quick, have very tight micro, and your teammate absolutely does need your help. Because not only will you be engaging on one side of the field against somebody who's not split microing, you will also be fighting against the full force of somebody's army with only half of your army. Half of your army and half of your attention against somebody's full army and full attention is generally not a good matchup to go into. There you go. AT gun does react quite quickly to the Panzer IV advancing on its flank, but it looks like it's going to get decrewed before it ever gets a shot off. AT grenade will not damage the Panzer IV's engine. Jackson on the field. Jackson goes straight from infantry AA half-track into a Jackson. Makes sense. He's got a pretty decent amount of anti-infantry firepower already with the stolen flamethrower, LMGs, Lieutenant AA half-track, lots of anti-infantry tools. Doesn't really need a Sherman or a Scott. Goes straight into the Jackson so that he can counter that that Panzer IV and make sure he keeps it at range, if he can't destroy it. Couple squads making their way towards the center. Katyusha firing. The Vet 3 half-track has been upgraded with flame projectors. Gets a pretty good crit off right there. Pretty good burst. If he continues to kite these infantry, he should be able to do decent damage. I think Vet 3 on this thing will probably make it a much more significant threat than unvetted. Katyusha pounding away in this area. Looks like it inflicted minor casualties, but nothing too serious. I don't see any decrewed team weapons. I'm not sure if there were any white squads. And the Jackson moves up to screen away the flame projectors. Panzer IV receiving repairs in the back. And he did vet the mortar, so yeah, that's just crazy veterancy purchases. He has not lost, I don't think. Yeah, he hasn't lost any of the units he vetted, so that's good. The half-track and 3 team weapons are all still alive. but of course has hurt his ability to tech up. He's going to go battle phase 3, going straight for Panther by the looks of things. So we'll have a Panther to support his ace when it arrives. But clearly he's not going to have a tank in nearly the same amount of time that his opponents have managed to field them. Siddolio has chosen to go tier 4 as we've seen, getting 2 tier 4 units before transitioning into what looks like Lend-Lease call-in tanks. Seems to like Lend-Lease a lot. We've seen him use that twice in Star-Crossed Kings. We're going to see it again here in Star-Crossed Casts. AT grenade being tossed. Lieutenant will retreat. Stun grenade off target. Flamethrower should win that engagement. Minesweeper making his way up the right side, trying to get control of that munitions point right there. Rifle grenade was about to get tossed. Decided not to go for it. Oh, the lieutenant's dead. I don't know how the lieutenant died. I wasn't paying attention, but he's dead apparently, which is going to reduce Looney's fighting strength a little bit. He has gotten his manpower float down, I think, by purchasing a 50 cal. Throwing a 50 cal on the field, throwing the Jackson on the field, the Major. Oh, armor-piercing incendiary rounds plus the AT gun just nailed that AA half-track. Nice play by CrocodileDundee. Nice positioning and usage of those team weapons. AA half-track exposed itself for just a little too long, and it goes down. Pretty big losses by Looney here. Despite them, he is doing a pretty good job for map control, thanks to support from his teammate. I don't know if the best way to screen your opponent's advance is to plant mines in front of him. But he will delay their advance by a little while. A second Panzer IV is on the field from CrocodileDundee, who still has not chosen a commander. He does have elite troops though. Double Panzer IV actually is kind of indicative of elite troops, honestly. He might also choose it. Close air support and spearheads certainly could also be good. They've had enough fuel to justify double Panzer IV into Tiger. Tiger will be arriving in a reasonable amount of time if he goes that route. Meanwhile, Mettiu still quite a few command points away from the Tiger Ace, since he hasn't been engaging that much, since he has not that many units with which to engage effectively. Trying to get command points just by, wow, a second Vet 3 mortar. Mortars will pretty much the only mechanism by which he can engage, honestly. These Grenadiers, with only 2 squads of them. Ooh, that spread! That was nice. Grenadiers, with only 2 squads, will only be able to do so much. Jeez, mortars going both directions are just brutal. That's not even a heavy mortar, it's just a normal mortar. And indirect fire is so important. Any long-range weapons are so important on a map that is just straight up red cover everywhere. There's so much red cover on this map. It's really lethal. The importance of cover is heavily exaggerated on Eindhoven country because the red cover is just everywhere. So many roads. You can get even a scrap of green cover up somewhere and park some infantry in there. They will be able to take on whole armies. Probably making defensive stance really powerful on this map. Not necessarily needing yellow or green cover. will help. And saturating the map with mortar fire, by the way, will also help over the course of the game as the red cover gets gradually transformed into yellow cover all over the place. Sherman on the field, Su-85 and Jackson available to support in the back, will make this a very dangerous zone for these Panzer IVs. Not sure I think this particular flank he's thinking about is a good idea. He may get an opportunity on the Sherman. One shot just bounced though, getting a little aggressive. Jackson still available, Su-85 available as well. Sherman having trouble rounding the corner though, not sure it's gonna make it. Rounds the corner. Yeah, Panzer IVs could have shot through the hedge, but they missed their chance, and it looks like they're gonna move to engage in the center instead against an M4C Sherman. Jackson and Su-85 get a huge volley off on that Panzer IV, but fortunately 2 more shots against it miss, and it will get to safety for repairs. Sherman falls back a little bit after taking some light damage. Grenadiers trying to take the center VP. Su-85 falling quite low as well. Suppressed infantry right here. Katyusha firing away. Ooh. Oh, that was a good spread. Ironically, the half-track tanking the barrage actually saved that machine gun, I think. And rocket hit the half-track instead of the machine gun, and it looks like it might survive. I don't think he should have reset up, though. Main gun destroyed, but it does not matter. LMGs laser beam that half-track down, and this machine gun's gonna get decrewed. Finally, those Vet 3 investments are being taken out by a combined push from both teammates. Rifleman will be forced to retreat, but the machine gun and one of the mortars has gone down. So 3 out of 5, I think, Vet 3 units have been wiped. And that's 75 fuel pretty much just gone. Meanwhile, CrocodileDundee's fuel investment's doing a little bit better here. And he has also chosen elite troops. He's also managed to save a lot more manpower than his opponent, probably because of these fuel caches. And his decision to go tier 3 rather than his opponent's tier 4. Panther is in production now from Mettiu. I'm wondering if we're going to see a 3rd Panzer IV, maybe a 4th Panzer, or 3rd Panzer IV before going into Tiger Ace. He's got a ton of fuel. Mettiu is doing a much better job of keeping his fuel down. Mettiu, CrocodileDundee has to think, do I want more P4s? Do I want to tech up? Not sure what the rational course of action is before I field that Tiger Ace. Either way, both of them are going to be arriving quite soon. And it's a good thing because they are rapidly losing control of this battlefield. M4C Sherman over here on the left side will be forced back by an anti-tank gun, which is now also Vet 3, I think. Although that veterancy has been earned, not purchased.
We are losing a sector.
Top mount machine gun on this Panther. Forces that retreat. This Vet 3 mortar is still alive, sets back up here to screen against, pushes in the middle, or at least try and push what infantry is here away. Grenadier Blob working the left side. Oh no, what happened over here? A Grenadier Blob just killed that vehicle crew while repairing. Katyusha is trying to salvage the situation, but the spread is completely off target. Why would he retreat? There's an abandoned Sherman over there. And Looney just dropped Taiwan target artillery on his own tank to desperately try and save it, but it didn't really do that much. It landed kind of off target, which is amusing. That his attempt to scuttle his own tank failed. And there's now just an abandoned Sherman sitting over here that those Grenadiers could have so easily recovered. Maybe he doesn't even want the Sherman. Honestly, a Sherman's not that good compared to a Panzer IV. And he may just want to continue cranking out Panzer IVs, which I'm surprised he didn't continue making before fielding his ace, by the way. But alright, Su-85 moving up. Both aces are on the field. This one, or no, that's the Panther, sorry. One ace on the field. Another still to come. Panzer IV engaging the Su-85 there. Tiger Ace with anti-tank gun support, Panzer IV support, machine gun support will be very difficult to overwhelm. That M4C Sherman's gonna die. Get abandoned. Nice mine placement damages the engine of that Ace in Jackson range though. Double Jackson range. Double Jackson range plus Katyusha. Gonna be a little too scared to advance though. There's smoke, there's an AT gun, there's Panzer IV, 2 Panzer IVs, so they're not gonna press that. They're not gonna try and follow up on that. They may, if they get aggressive, they may leave their flank exposed to a Panther as well, so a lot of things to keep in mind. Whoa, what was that? What killed that? Was that a long-range random scatter shot? I think it was. Pretty sure that Katyusha just died to a random long-range shot from the AT gun or something. That has to be frustrating. Su-85 getting too aggressive also gets destroyed. Jackson getting too aggressive may pick the Panzer IV, but it looks like it's in the fog. Can't get a shot off. Not going well for the Allies right now. Both Panzer IVs really need to get repairs done. The Panther right here is still in pretty good condition. Jackson's still in pretty good condition. This Sherman pretty okay. If this Sherman gets stolen, it will be immediately destroyed, so they shouldn't even make the attempt, honestly. Why would Siddolio blow that Sherman up? He was immediately in range for repair and recovery, and he destroyed it. What was that? Why would he do that? That made no sense. Look how much stuff is nearby to try and recover that thing. What a waste. Dushka in the building about to get killed, stunned to death, and mortared to death. Jackson's moving up into range to support against whatever armored push the Axis field next. Allies have victory point control. They need to get the center point secure. Maybe, I don't know. There's actually no real reason to rush this game as the Allies. They can let this one ride for a little while. Just try to focus on engaging cost effectively for as long as possible. Mitigate the threat that the Tiger Ace poses. And let the Oster economy just bleed out over the course of the game. Ooh. Mettiu still hasn't fielded his ace, so his economy's fine. CrocodileDundee, on the other hand, is going to be screwed if this game lasts more than 10 more minutes. Unless he loses his Tiger Ace, which he might. Generally, the best policy with the Tiger Ace is to engage as hard as you can with it and then let it die. You have to engage as cost effectively as possible, take out maybe 2-3 tanks with it, and then let it die. It's no longer worth your investment after that. The drain on your economy is too severe. Those mortars sure are doing well. Indirect fire on this map, so good. Pounding away at all Allied infantry formations, with Panthers moving up to provide vision, Grenadiers moving to secure control of the victory point. The longer this game lasts, the more the Oster will bleed manpower from their Tiger Ace investments, but simultaneously, if the Allies bleed more manpower just from tank and indirect fire, it hardly makes a difference. Stun grenades, trying to continue to provide opportunities for the mortar. The Tiger Ace just drove over a mine in the exact same spot it hit one last time. What is he doing? Buy a minesweeper, CrocodileDundee. This is the last thing you want to happen. It's got a destroyed engine. If I were the Allies, I wouldn't even kill this. I would just go into its retreat path and try and kill all bios that try and repair it and just leave it stranded somewhere. Artillery being dropped on it will destroy the ace though, and CrocodileDundee's full economy will be destroyed, but Mettiu has fielded his ace, and now his economy is going to be the one hurting. Allies do not currently have victory point control, but they're inflicting massive losses on the Axis, which just made a frontal assault into a minefield. Allies lose a tank, but it's not really the end of the world. Vet 3 pack about to be cleared, and CrocodileDundee will be reduced to nothing but 2 piles, 1 tank, and 1 infantry squad and team weapon. So, not good. Not a good engagement. Meanwhile, Siddolio moving up with the full force of his army. He did lose one of his 2 Shermans. Still has this one. He's lost 2 of 3 total fielded, I think. His economy is pretty strong. Nothing too serious. This Sherman goes down to the fresh Tiger Ace Panzer IV. But the Jacksons are both Vet 2. And if the Axis continue to engage on this open field, that Tiger Ace is not going to do any better than the first one. Although if he at least screens with a Minesweeper, thank you Mettiu for learning from your teammates' mistakes, he can at least prevent that Tiger Ace from taking engine damage. Panther's up to Vet 2 as well. Much better tank usage here by Mettiu than CrocodileDundee thus far, to at least keep those things alive. But again, if he doesn't impact the field extremely dramatically with that Tiger Ace, his economy will be destroyed. And I feel that CrocodileDundee needs to go tier 4 as soon as he can to capitalize on his huge fuel reserves, because tier 3 is not going to work against the sheer volume of allied firepower on the field. The Panther, as we can see, is performing quite nicely. Panzer IV is probably not going to stack up anymore. Look at that damage. 2 more shots from those things. Panzer IV will go down. Panther and Ace find an opportunity on the Sherman here. There it goes, Sherman destroyed. Jackson also left vulnerable for a split second too long, will be taken out by an aggressive push there by an AT gun. 2 allied tanks destroyed, no Axis tanks taken in return. Very good engagement for the Axis, but again, if they don't get some more territory under control, it's not worth that much. They need to continue engaging cost effectively, take control of another victory point. The south completely undefended, the north defended by 1 rear echelon Minesweeper squad, if you can call that a defense. The Axis continue to engage highly lethally here right outside the allied base. Just had to make a full retreat. If he had just sent one of those squads to the left side victory point, he could have gotten that under control, but instead he dove straight into the allied front line and has to go all the way back to base. Mettiu continues to defend the center victory point as well as he can. His mortars are just annihilating everything. 24 kills between those since being decrewed. Tiger Ace finds an opportunity on that Jackson, stuns him with target weak point. There he goes, destroyed. Nice play. Jackson did not maintain a safe distance, and the Allies are losing armored investments left and right. Panzer IV surprisingly still staying relevant because Mettiu is cleaning up all those Jacksons. And Siddolio, investing so much into M4C Shermans, does not have Su-85s which to engage these heavy tanks from range. So, not looking great. The Priest just blasted the Panzer IV. Nice hit right there, but Panzer IV will reposition to safety. 2 AT guns on the field will help defend against what little Allied tanks remain. And most infantry formations that try and make a play for the center get cleaned up by the mortars, which means Allies have to reposition towards the left side to try and engage as well as they can over here. We're also going to see an S-mine field planted on the east victory point. Grenadiers moving towards the south fuel now. Not have a minesweeper though. May take some bleed. And conscripts are available in the area to clean them up. Mine in the retreat path. Looks like that squad's gonna get away. Grenadier blob doing what it can over here. Forces a retreat from LMG minesweeper rear echelons. Riflemen also somewhat available. Mortar gets cleared. And those Grenadiers will be forced to retreat right there. Meanwhile, the defense of the center continues to hold strong. Allies are going to make another feeble attempt for the left side that will probably fail under Panzer IV fire. And they need to figure something out. Not off to a great start right now. The fact that Mettiu has heavy economic drain may be the only thing that makes this game plausible over the course of a long slugfest. But CrocodileDundee has no such concerns, but I don't know why he wouldn't spend his fuel. He has 500 fuel. Why would he not go tier 4? I don't really know what he's doing. At least he finally bought a minesweeper. A little late, he's lost so much. But at least he has one now. Grenadier Blob takes the left side victory point.
We have our reinforcements. Pioneers awaiting orders.
Tiger Ace and Vet 3 Panther now working on the right side, pushing back tanks. Ooh, that one's screwed. AT gun shot will finish it off. Axis continue their slow advance across the map. As long as they continue to execute this well, they should be fine. They need to keep up production. Keep up production of stuff. Mettiu really can't, honestly, but CrocodileDundee can. I don't know why he won't spend his resources and try and press their advantage. They have such a good advantage right now over the Allies who have lost so much, but he won't press it by spending his resources on fresh armor. The best part is, with these fuel and manpower reserves that he and his teammate has, he could probably make a Vet 3 Panther right out of the box. He could probably just make a Panther and get it straight to Vet 3 in the base and then field it, and then the Allies would really be in trouble. And all those resources are just being squandered. Tiger Ace moving for a pretty aggressive maneuver here. It looks like it might succeed though. Pop smoke just to be safe. Field guns don't get any lucky penetrations. Oh, no minesweeper support on that push, and he takes engine damage on that Panther. Rear armor's exposed. Popping smoke just to be safe. Tiger Ace pulling back as well. Dushka might get cleared. Tiger Ace can't seem to get a shot off through the smoke. The shot doesn't really connect. Mortars pounding the area don't seem to be connecting all that well either. Tiger Ace is down to about half. Panther is trying to do an about face, get his frontal armor face back towards the enemy, and it is successful. And the Allied tanks are not sufficiently comfortable to continue to press this advance. And both of Mettiu's tanks should be fine. Get those repaired. The Allies do have victory point control once again, though.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
Axis definitely need to make something happen on those VPs. We have a medic bunker right here, interestingly enough, but no command post, so we can heal but not reinforce. Unless he throws another half-track on the field. Mine gets detonated by those Grenadiers. They don't accomplish much else, though. Here on the left side, Panzer IV checks the point before advancing with a couple squads to get that back under control. And is that a P-47? No, Major Recon Pass. It's an infantry company. Major Recon Pass provide a little bit of vision into what the Axis are doing. Open up some artillery targets for those priests, and they will bombard the Tiger Ace as it's receiving repairs. But it doesn't look like any shells are going to connect with infantry formations in the area. No serious manpower bleed, and while repairs will be delayed, it doesn't accomplish much of anything else. Squads moving to defend over here on the left side. CrocodileDundee floating up to 1,000 manpower, 600 fuel, still no tier 4, still operating on the exact same army he had 10 minutes ago. Apparently the thought of spending resources once he fielded his ace completely slipped his mind. He was done making units for the whole rest of the game. Maybe he's never had a game last this long after fielding an ace. Maybe he's so used to winning once the Tiger Ace hits the field that he doesn't know what to do in this situation. But whatever it is, if he doesn't start spending his resources, the Allies are going to get so many free victory points knocked off the board. And meanwhile, Mettiu has sent nothing to the east, which is completely undefended. So Mettiu is spending his resources to continuously defend the center, not dedicating enough harassment to the right side, and CrocodileDundee is constantly harassing the left side, but he is being pushed away by US forces because he won't spend his resources to bolster his own strength. So both players are failing to take control of a flank for opposite reasons, but because of that, the Allies are still in this game, when really they should have been knocked out a while ago, especially considering the build decisions they've made. 2 priests, 2 M4C Shermans, barely any Jacksons on the field, no Su-85s. A massive blitzkrieg of tanks with Minesweeper support should just walk right up and kill all of this, honestly. And I don't know. And if not that, then just swarm the flanks. Stop engaging in the middle in this slugfest. This map is clearly designed not to be a slugfest because of the victory point placement. If you can't get penetration in the center, the flanks are so far away and so hard to defend that they should be quite easily exchanged back and forth, which is one of the appealing things about this map. People play it like it's Minsk Pocket sometimes when they really don't have to. Looney clearly realizes that, making his way straight to the left side over and over again to get victory point control. Sid doesn't even have to play to the right side since his opponent refuses to engage over there, and will continue to fight pretty poorly for the center. Even though it's not red cover anymore, the entire battlefield here is yellow cover now. Nobody can make any progress. Looney gonna make an attempt. I'm sure he's gonna get mortared out of there soon. That one already firing. Panther moving up to assist. MG moving to assist. Panzerwerfer on the field. See if that Panzerwerfer can accomplish anything. Against primarily tanks and priests, hardly any infantry left. That Panzerwerfer's probably going to have a pretty limited impact. He might find a couple useful targets that he can take out to screen for his tank's advance. If he doubles down on Panzerwerfers and saturates an area really heavily with Panzerwerfer fire, he can probably clear team weapons as necessary to screen for his tanks. And you never know when Panzerwerfer barrage might pop a mine as well, so that can be a nice thing to have. It's always good to have indirect fire. And as always here, your late game rocket artillery options aren't great, so fielding what he can. I think it makes sense to throw that on the field after you've already got the meat and potatoes of your army, like the Tiger and the Panther and everything. Thank you, Banana and Pajamas. Thank you very much. And by the way, Banana Pajamas, I'm honestly a little disappointed you didn't compete today. I understand that you had another obligation. I really hope next time you win the lottery or next time you get a nomination, we're going to see you in Starcross Kings. But thank you again for your continued support of the stream. I really appreciate it. I know you've donated many times, so that means a lot to me. And I'm glad that my casting makes you sexually aroused. That really boosts my self-esteem a lot. Although, if you're male, which you probably are, I guess that means that it just induces some sort of anal seepage. So in that case, I apologize. It's actually quite unfortunate. But either way, I'm glad that you have some sort of bodily reaction. Panzer IV moving up over here on the left side. Big swarm of allied tanks moving to assist. Tiger Ace moving up to help out. Anti-tank gun over here. That Panzer IV may get overwhelmed, but lots of damage spread out over these allied tanks, and it looks like Mettiu is going to engage aggressively. There it is, Panther and Tiger Ace fire. Take out that tank. That Sherman may be next to go down. He will hit a mine here behind enemy lines and suffer engine damage. If the Allies can somehow capitalize on that, field gun firing, Sherman firing, Ace will be very exposed and in a lot of danger right here. That Sherman moving on his flank is not able to get shots off though. I don't know, I think he's going to be able to pull back to safety this time. But he did get a little exposed without Minesweeper support right there, and may want to be careful about making those maneuvers. Didn't know exactly what the Allies had to bring to bear. Fortunately, Looney went to Priest, so he doesn't have that many Jacksons on the field just to punish that. But, we do pick up the Jackson right there. The Panzerwerfer clears an AT gun. Some very heavy damage on some Allied tanks. I don't know. Pretty rough engagement for the Allies. The Axis didn't really lose anything. And Mettiu has managed to dedicate a squad to harassment of the right side victory point. There's still an S-mine field over there, I think. Actually, it looks like it's mostly blown up. Not even going to try for the fuel. All he cares about is victory points. And for good reason. I mean, he's not going to have any fuel coming in, even if he does take a fuel point. And his teammate has 700 fuel in the bank. Who cares about fuel points? The only thing that matters now is victory points. They need to get them under control. Finally, CrocodileDundee has gone tier 4, but not purchased any tier 4 units for whatever reason. I guess he forgot that he built the structure or something. But he really needs to get some units out of that building. Maybe he just doesn't know what to buy. I would just go Panthers. Just spam Panthers. Make some medium tanks so that you can aggressively get back there with hopefully Minesweeper support and kill those priests. Kill what allied tanks remain. Finish out the game. Try and make it work. And when your teammate has a Tiger Ace, you don't want the game to last all day. You really don't. Is there water right there? Apparently the craters here are so deep that they have like broken. This is like mud now. The watershed has been hit. They have successfully dug a well with artillery fire.
Not let up. The enemy still has 300 points. It's done. The enemy is taking our territory. The enemy is attacking one of our forward buildings.
Engagement over here between a Panzer IV and a Sherman's probably going to see that Sherman go down. Takes a big hit from an anti-tank gun over there on the flank, and it looks, yeah, any second it's dead. Jackson is trying to get in range to support. Sherman trying to get in range to support. Panzer IV is a little exposed. Got a huge hit on the rear armor from the Jackson, and we might see it go down. Oh, he should not have tried to get away that way. Wait, how did he even take that route? Did he like squeeze behind the trees or something? It looked like he like went through those trees. I don't even understand what I just saw. That was weird. Like how is what he just did possible? Well, either way, the Ghost Panzer IV is dead. Target weak point on the Jackson, but I don't think he likes this engagement. He's trying to pull back to safety. There's just way too much stuff. Tiger Ace down to about a third HP. Panther falling similarly low under heavy AT gun fire. What is he doing? That was way too late in an attempt to save that thing. Way too late. 2 field guns, 2 Shermans, a Jackson. What was that Panther doing? Pulled the Ace back. He should have let the Ace die, not the Panther. If he had let the Ace die, I would have thought it was a tactical and intentional decision to get his economy back on track. By letting the Panther die, he screwed himself so hard. He needed that thing. He can't make units. He can't make units, and so he cannot afford to lose them. Oh, that priest hit. Brutal. That just nailed that Pioneer blob. That's going to shut down repairs for a while. Ace is fully repaired, moves to re-engage in the center. Frontally engaging AT weaponry can only stick around for a short time. Panzerwerfer trying to soften up the AT weapons. He's got 2 of them on the field. Maybe can make something happen. Priest counter barraging somewhere. Looks like it was largely off target. The Ace is getting a little dangerous right here. 1 Sherman on the flank. Jackson field gun frontally being engaged. Will blitz to safety slowly. It's not that much of a speed boost anymore. You can barely even tell that it's in effect, but it will help. It's still a nice buff. It's not useless. It has non-zero effect. It's probably in a pretty good place on heavy tanks now. And that Jackson got too aggressive and gets blasted by a pretty chunky AT gun wall right there. And these tanks need to pull back as well. Riflemen trying to stall in the VP for as long as they can. Every precious victory point you can stall for counts. Honestly, that squad was probably not going to get away, even if they retreated, so I could understand him just parking in green cover and hoping for the best, because with only 43 victory points remaining, the Axis have very limited time to make a comeback. But the Allies are kind of running on fumes themselves. But they have been for the entire last 25 minutes. Being honest, they've taken so many losses. And I'm honestly surprised not to see a Su-85. An Su-85 from Siddolio could really help. It's a little more chunky than the Jackson, I think, right? It has a little more health, if memory serves. Certainly more armor. I could be wrong about both of those things. That's just an intuitive guess. I'm not actually sure if those statements are true. But it definitely has longer range than M4C Shermans. These things are getting popped over and over again just throughout the course of this game. Maybe if he threw Su-85 on the field, take advantage of the long-range engagements here. They do need something to provide vision. Obviously, infantry can only do that for just a few seconds before either getting wiped or forced to retreat. Especially with Panzerwerfers now on the field, Vet 3 mortars still here, MG mortar protecting. It's getting pretty hard to engage to this victory point. Siddolio goes and grabs the right side VP at some point, so that's an allied hands once again. Mettiu may or may not feel inclined to go get that back. Panzerwerfers wipe the conscripts, but the machine gun crew is wiped by a priest in exchange. Second Panzerwerfer barrage engaging here. I like how the really low elevation of the terrain and wherever the water line is on this map. I didn't even know there was water on this map anywhere. Causes water to just randomly just spout up once enough craters have formed. It's kind of funny. Is there any water on this map anywhere? I don't think so. I think that's just kind of an amusing anomaly on this map. Interesting. Combat engineers retreating away with the flamethrower right there. These two M4C Shermans moving up to engage from the left side. CrocodileDundee finally built a Panther. I'm truly surprised that he did not vet it before engaging with it. He and his teammate both have troop training access. He's got massive resource reserves. I think that's something he could have done. I don't know why he wouldn't try and reverse to long range against those Shermans either. Just sat his Panther there, and down it goes. Mettiu trying to help him out a little bit here with the Tiger Ace on the flank, and both Shermans receive engine damage from Panzerfaust fire at least. That Panther just died without even hitting Vet 1. It's a huge investment down the drain. Pretty good trade regardless. Two Shermans do go down thanks to that play by Mettiu to finish off that Sherman over there, trying to keep his ace as useful as possible. If he's not going to be able to make any units for the rest of the game, he may as well get the most out of this Tiger. He's got 43 kills, including 4 tanks. So it's certainly getting the job done. 53-minute game though, and not being able to make any units at all is clearly taking its toll. He's completely out of infantry. The only thing he has left is his ace, a Pio squad, and 2 Panzerwerfers, and his resources are not being restored in the least. I don't know if the Axis can hold on. Oh, well, no, they definitely cannot. They lost control of the center. They lost control of the center and left. The victory points have run out, and it just doesn't matter what he does without infantry to maintain control of the game. The Tiger Ace has bled his economy too hard, and CrocodileDundee just didn't bother to purchase any units for whatever reason, and they lose. GG. Allies win by the slimmest of margins, despite having almost nothing left. Siddolio has 3 combat engineers and a field gun and nothing else. Looney has his 2 priests and a Jackson. Basically no infantry. Wow. CrocodileDundee. This army, I cannot believe the game has been lost. What a tragedy. GG. Allies win.